This tutorial will introduce you to simulation, one of the premier areas of Portfolio 123. Let's open up a simulation and see what's involved in setting one up. You start out by seeing the default view is a very broad summary of performance. You can click in the left menu for more detailed information. Again, on performance, trading statistics, you can look at transactions, buy, sells, dividend. Of course, you can download any of this to Excel because sometimes this page can get very large. Let's see what goes into creating a simulation. Now, there's a lot of information here. This will be a very broad introduction. Details are available in our help area. You establish the starting capital, very specific commission assumptions, slippage, rebalance frequency, position sizing. Here, this simulation is assuming that each position will be about 5% of the portfolio, and we're aiming at 20 stocks. You start out by choosing a universe. The default, of course, is all stocks, but you can narrow that down, and you choose a ranking system. If we were to do nothing further, what the simulation would do on every rebalancing is look at the entire database. You sort based on the balance for ranking system and choose the top 20 stocks. Most users would prefer to do a little bit more filtering before they start counting from 20. You create buy rules, and you'll notice this looks a lot like a stock screen, and in fact you can import it directly from a screen that you've saved, although there are some additional rules that apply only to simulations, such as sector weight is one example. Here we would not buy any stock that would cause its sector to become more than 20% of the portfolio. Of course, it doesn't have to be 20. This is a rule that's set up by the user, and we don't even have to have this if the user doesn't wish. Now, in screening, a stock would be deemed sold at the next rebalancing if it ran afoul of any of these rules, say if the PEG ratio were 1.31. But in simulation, we will hold all of the stocks that get into the portfolio indefinitely until they run afoul of a user-specified sell rule. Since there is no sell rule here involving PEG being greater than 1.3, a rise in the PEG in this case would not cause a sale. Simulator also allows you to use a stop loss, trailing stop, or an entry-based stop, and you can set the parameter. You're also permitted to do some hedging. You can specify the hedge vehicle, and you'll notice that you can also specify the percent of the portfolio that you're going to be hedging. It doesn't have to be 100%. And you can specify rules that is determine when you'll go into the hedge and when you'll exit the hedge. This, by the way, is the hedge vehicle is not cash, but is a fixed income ETF. You could also use a short ETF if you'd like. Or you can use long ETFs. You can sell short or long ETF. You also determine the test period, and then you would run it and you would get your results, such as we've seen earlier. So this is a very, very broad introduction to simulation. Again, there's a lot more detail in the help area. The tutorial's posted there, and we encourage you to look at it. This concludes our introduction to simulation.